So three for me is Ruke Orhorhoro from Clemson. Nailed that. Absolutely nailed it.
I was worried about that one, but yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Ruke
That's
Orhorhoro.
not how he's not in my top five. I can't say his name.
H's are silent. He's from Nigeria, moved to the US when he was 9, so he is really new to the game in terms of when you compare him to these other guys. But I really like his versatility. He can line up multiple different alignments, and he can attack the nose, or he can line up out wide if you want him to. He's done everything at Clemson. When Clemson seem to have this revolving door, and it has hindered some prospects before when we've tried to evaluate them, where it's kind of, you just want them to nail one thing rather than rotating in and out. You're thinking about the linebackers that have come out recently, like Isaiah Simmons, and then trying to think of, there was Trent Simpson, where you just want them to do what they're good at. But Clemson don't work their defense like that. But I think I've seen enough from Ruke Orhorhoro that I really like. The speed to power profile can overwhelm guards. Pass rush and pocket disruptions really good. Quick off the snap, showed really good athleticism at the combine, which wasn't ever a worry, but was better than expected, especially at the weight. He's 6'4", 294 pounds, which I think he dropped some to get to the combine. And he just explodes through gaps. Flexible and bendy when needed. Hands are accurate, gets off blocks and creates leverage with his hand placement. And I think he's really slippery as well through the middle. Weaknesses, he hasn't been ultra productive because that's not what Clemson really do. And say he's 294 now. They may ask him to add a little bit more weight when he gets to the NFL level, but he'd already gained 20 pounds in the last off season, so he's clearly capable of adding weight. And he isn't necessarily the most powerful of all these guys, but I think he is one of the most well-rounded players in the next tier, because the top two are a class among themselves. But for me, of the next guy down, I think he has the most complete profile.
Yeah, I think for me, if he's going to be the size that he's weighed in, I think his pass rush is maybe not as good as it could be. I think he maybe needs to kind of expand his repertoire. I think he tends to try and win with a bit of power, and I don't think he's the strongest guy to do that. I don't think he's quite. It's talking about it, pads for me. That's my big thing. I think he plays very high, and it does allow offensive linemen to get in underneath him and kind of forklift him a little bit at times. But yeah, again, he's one of these players who's all around that same height, weight, build, aren't they? And they all want to do the same thing. It seems to be a theme this year. Someone take a punt on him. Yeah, absolutely. I can see that happening. We've seen these Clemson guys, you're right, along that defensive line. We had Miles Murphy in Brazil last year as well, who just, I think if they find a home and develop in that, that's going to be much more. If a team has a plan for our pal Ruke, he's going to be, I think that's what they need to do. Right, this is what we think he's going to be. Let's focus in on that. Let's refine that. I think if you just let him kind of go about his business, going all over the line, I think that he maybe not quite develop as much as. I think he needs to kind of have a position and really focus on that for me.